AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Pete Fiutak, college football news in about 30 minutes from right now. This pretty shout out to Spencer, who on the text line sent me this. The Chiefs held rookie minicamp this past weekend. So Nuss was there for rookie minicamp this past weekend. So I already got to look at him on the field. So and on Monday, if you missed the story we did just a bit ago, the Chiefs have waived Jake Hayner, so it paves the way for Nuss there as the number 3. So that's awesome. So congrats to Nuss for that. And thanks to Spencer for looking out there. Pretty cool to see the photos there of Nuss with his new rookie teammates in the Chiefs uniform, and we'll be pulling for him here from afar, and all the Tigers who are beginning their journey in the next phase of their career. So the Saints rookie minicamp is this week, starts on the 7th. Chiefs had theirs this past weekend. All right, it's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here. The Saints have made a couple of moves, as we know, to fortify their edge position, making the draft day trade for Tyree Wilson and then signing Anfernee Jennings, who was released by the Patriots last month. If a quick bio, if you're not familiar, again, if you missed it. So Anfernee Jennings is someone that, to football fans around here, should be familiar. He played at Bama. He was on a couple of national title teams in 2015 and 2017. Was a third-round pick of the Patriots in the COVID year in 2020 and played 6 years in New England, was released with 1 year left on his second contract, which should have been this year. He was scheduled to be an unrestricted free agent in 2027, but released at the end of March and I guess at the start of the league year, and signed with the Saints as a free agent after the draft. So the Saints have sort of fortified that spot. Well, Anfernee Jennings met with reporters on Monday to kind of talk about his role in New Orleans and how he came to be in New Orleans. And I still think this is a really good addition for the Saints for a lot of reasons, like we reacted to after the draft when they signed him. But Jennings got started by talking about why and how the opportunity came with New Orleans.
Obviously, my time ended with the Patriots. And, the Saints was one of the teams that reached out to, me and my agent. And, I just thought that, having an opportunity there, especially after what they done in the draft and how they finished the season last season, I felt like that was a good opportunity for me. I'm just looking forward to it.
I think it's also worth noting that when you look at the contract Jennings signed with New Orleans, it's a 1-year deal at $1.4 million. So it's sometimes the story is there and it tells you the story. Like when Jennings, who's a 6-year vet, signs a 1-year, $1.4 million contract, with only $187,000 of it guaranteed via signing bonus, that kind of tells you the story. There wasn't really a market for Anfernee Jennings. There wasn't a robust market for Jennings. But the Saints had a need and had interest, and this makes sense for a lot of reasons like we've already discussed. Now, anytime we talk about adding a player, I'm always going to start that conversation with, okay, how much did it cost? Because there's a cost-benefit analysis to everything. And that doesn't matter what what you do in life, whether you're sending your kid to school or you're a front office signing an NFL free agent or you're buying a car or whatever, a home. There's going to be a cost-benefit analysis to every purchase you make. You're buying a suit. You buy. Think about this. I got an event this Thursday. Our Lady of the Lake Foundation is having their big fundraiser event. Well, it's a black tie event. Think about buying a tuxedo. How often do you wear a tuxedo? If you wear a tuxedo often, the cost-benefit analysis of renting probably doesn't make sense. It's probably better to just buy a tuxedo that you're going to wear many times over instead of renting. It's going to cost you more. You understand what I mean. So when I look at Anfernee Jennings, his rookie deal as a third-round pick was a 4-year, $4.5 million contract. He plays out his rookie deal, re-signs with New England on a 3-year, $12 million contract. I'm not trying to bore you with numbers. I'm just giving you this for context, right? So New England re-signed to a 3-year, $12 million deal, so it averaged out to $4 million per. He played the first 2 years of that deal, and then they released him before this 2026 season. So last year, he was making $4 million per. Now he signs a 1-year, $1.4 million contract with the Saints, where the only guaranteed money is his prorated signing bonus of $187,500. That's the only part of this that's guaranteed. So for the Saints, it is a virtual no-risk move whatsoever. If he's on the roster, he costs you $1.2 million. Basically, the variance between the salary number and the signing bonus. The dead cap number, if you cut him, is the $187K. So this is basically a zero-risk move by New Orleans. No risk to bring in Jennings whatsoever. And you still have a guy that's 28 years old, that's been in the NFL for 6 years, and that was just a key contributor defensively on a Super Bowl team. Now, it's worth mentioning he was drafted by the Patriots under Bill Belichick, then played for a year under Gerard Mayo, and now under Mike Vrabel. So he's had 3 head coaches during his time with the Patriots, which is weird because of just the historic stability of the last 30 years in that organization. But he did, so all that to say, I guess, he was a Belichick guy, and maybe Vrabel had a different vision, which is maybe partly why they moved on going into this year. But Jennings did also talk about that Super Bowl experience and the value of that as he comes to New Orleans.
It helps a lot. You kind of know what it takes to get there. And you kind of know what it takes within the team, I guess the system, and how to hold your teammates accountable too, as well as yourself. It's something that's a process, and you can't take it for granted.
The positional value, I think, also matters a lot here, because the comp is going to be Cam Jordan, because there's three parts of that rotation that are solidified, right? With Chase Young, with Carl Granderson, and with Tyree Wilson. You have the draft day trade for the 5th round pick, bringing over the former 7th overall pick from the Raiders to New Orleans. Like, those 3 are solidified. The question is, who's next? Like, who's that 4th? Well, Cam Jordan remains unsigned, and here you brought in a guy Cam's going to be 37 in July. Anfernee Jennings is 28. He's a decade younger than Cam Jordan, but he's also played in a lot of games. Jennings has played in 75 career games over 6 seasons. He did have an injury which cost him the 2021 season. He missed the entire 2021 season. So over really 5 seasons of playing, he's been a pretty durable player during his time in New England with the Patriots. So you have a guy that's younger than Cam Jordan, but the real question is about his ability to rush the passer. So in his career, in the 75 games played, and he's made 40 starts during his career, he's only got 7.5 sacks in his entire career. So he's not been someone that necessarily has been able to affect the quarterback at a high rate, and that's something he was asked about with the media on Monday.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't went for 10 plus sacks yet, but I feel like I affect the quarterback in many ways. Batted balls, just being around him. It's always been this narrative where I couldn't get to the quarterback or all this and this and that. And you watch the game, I'm constantly affecting the quarterback. I feel like, and I just try to do whatever I can, whatever situation I'm in to help the team win, and whether that's getting after the quarterback, stopping the run, or whatever. That's all I'm trying to do is win the game.
It's a narrative because it's true. He's played in 75 games. He has blitzed 120 times. He's got 7.5 sacks. Now, he does have 44 pressures in his career, but the most he's had in a season is 14 pressures. Now, if that's a rotational piece that's giving you fresh legs on pass rush downs, okay. But I'd also argue that when you've played in 75 games with 40 starts, you kind of are at this point what your resume says you are, and that's that you're not an elite pass rusher. Can he maybe be that New Orleans under a new system? Sure. But again, it's why the Saints have a minimal investment in this player. But it's a really good option in case Cam Jordan does re-sign with New Orleans on a probably similar incentive-laden deal. You bring him to camp and see who earns the roster spot. Or maybe Cam Jordan signs elsewhere. But one more from Jennings, who has asked, because there's an interesting comp with the Saints and the Patriots, a young quarterback, new coach, trying to make a jump. Can the Saints make a jump this year like the Pats did a year ago?
Like I said, man, based on what the Saints were able to do towards the end of the season last year, and what they've done in the offseason as far as getting players and helping guys, I think that offensively we got a chance, and defensively we got a chance to be really good. Obviously we got to put the work in and take it one day at a time. But I think that obviously last year nobody gave us a chance to be where we ended up at the end of the season. But we kind of kept that within ourselves. We worked every day, and we held each other accountable. And went out and, we executed the game plan, and we was able to, complement each other, offense, defense, and special team.
Anfernee Jennings is officially listed as a linebacker, but very likely an outside, stand-up edge outside guy that you'll see in New Orleans, sort of affecting that edge room. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're bored with us here. We are brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. Mother's Day is Sunday. Mother's Day Sunday. Gents, take care of mom the way that mom has taken care of you your whole life. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Great options. You can go shop online, see a lot of the options available at lmfj.com, lmfj.com, or you can always just walk into any of the 9 locations. Mother's Day is coming. For all those late nights, the early mornings, the endless love that mom gives you and gives me. This year, give mom something that lasts from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Pete Fiutak's going to join us in 15 minutes from right now from College Football News. Got a really good piece up right now, sort of a post-spring, looking ahead at 2026 in the Southeastern Conference. And a lot of that piece centered around Lane Kiffin and LSU. So we'll dive into that with Pete Fiutak here in about 16 minutes from right now. But when we come back, LSU has added cornerback depth from an unlikely place. We'll talk about it next on AFR, presented by Relief Windows.
AFR.
All right, y'all. Eventually, this friggin' cold weather's got to stop. Woke up this morning, it's 55 degrees. So stupid. It's May. I'm ready for 105. Ask and you shall receive. Or whether they say, careful what you wish for. It's coming. Hey, take care of your AC with River City's 1 Hour Air. If you haven't done it yet, great. That little cool off is giving you a bit of a reprieve, giving you an opportunity to just enjoy this beautiful spring weather. Sunny days, cool breeze, maybe not needing to fire up that AC and overwork it just yet. Those days are coming. Make sure you get your preseason AC tune-up. If you haven't done it yet, it's not too late. Call River City's 1 Hour Air. Do it right now. Get your phone. It's not a request. It's a demand. Do it right now. Get your phone. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001. You're going to talk to a living, breathing human right here who's going to get you scheduled. Take care of your AC with River City's 1 hour air. I am so fired up to welcome Insurance Network of Louisiana back to AFR. For years, I've been telling you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, and they are fantastic when it comes to your personal insurance for your auto, home, flood, umbrella, boat, motorcycle, RV, all of that stuff. They have the best service, and they work with the best companies possible. Gotta let you know, however, about their commercial arm. If you are a business owner, and we're talking about all the different things within your business that you need insured, Insurance Network of Louisiana can shop and save for you. Why not let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana shop for your business insurance to see if they can get you better coverage for less money? Commercial auto, general liability, commercial property, workers' comp, so many ways. It's easy. Start at the website at lainsurance.net, lainsurance.net.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Hope you had an awesome weekend. I did. It was a Jazz Fest. Got to see Eagles play on Saturday. A little burned. It's weird, too, because I wore a hat, glasses, still a little red on the face. Do I look like a crawfish?
No, you look fine. I didn't know what you meant there when you said little burned. Like you said, I didn't get a little burned. I didn't kind of know.
Little burned.
Yeah, little burned. Sun was bright, man.
I wore, so I made so it was cold Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had on a long sleeve, dry fit shirt. It was one of our pair, like the fluorescent yellow, fluorescent group pair of shirts. So I wore that, and then I had wind pants on. But I brought like a dry fit golf shirt and shorts in case by the time we got there, if it had warmed up and how it was looking. So I made the decision when we got there. I ditched the wind pants, put on the shorts, but I kept the long sleeve shirt on. Good decision.
Smart,
kept the sun off my arms, all that sort of stuff. But I didn't put sunscreen on my hands. So like my hands, I don't know if you can tell because of all the studio lighting, but my hands got dark and my arms did not. Now, thankfully, I get enough sun. Like I try to get outside to where, and then we had LSU football practice and all, so I've got some color already on my arms. But yeah, that was a little bit of a life choice. And then my neck, you could probably see like that. I don't know if you could tell.
That I can see.
Yeah,
I can see the neck right there. But your face looks fine.
I did okay. I did look natural vitamin D.
There you go.
A great day at Jazz Fest. Great weather, great people. I saw LSU defense coordinator Blake Baker and his wife Rosalind there on Saturday as well. They were going to see T-Pain, however. I was going to see
vibe.
Eagles. They were going to see T-Pain.
Mm-hmm. Different vibe. Both good, though. Both good.
Every time that Eagles kind of were between songs, and so it was like a little quiet, you could just hear boom, boom, boom. It's like T-Pain at the Gentilly stage. I bet they had a hell of a time over there at T-Pain. A great day. Great time at Jazz Fest as always. Hope everybody that went was safe and had a great time. Pete Fiutak going to join us here in about 10 minutes from right now from college football news. He's high on the LSU Tigers. We'll talk about it in just a smidge. One of the biggest concerns coming out of spring practice for LSU was cornerback depth. Like, you don't take my word for it. Look, we talked about it. The top three are undeniable. You've got DJ Pickett and PJ Woodland back. Jakeem Jackson is the number 3. We talked about it all throughout spring. Whenever they went nickel, they'd kick Woodland into the slot, and then Pickett and Jackson would be your boundary corners. Your first 3 are set. Those are your guys. But Aiden Anding was the next guy. And we all know the story. In that second scrimmage of spring, he made a leaping interception, and unfortunately on the play, tore his Achilles. And the Tuesday after, this was the middle of April now, the Tuesday after that scrimmage, I asked Lane Kiffin about cornerback depth with Anding out. This was middle of April, what Lane Kiffin said.
Concern, but again, back to like where are you in my concerns? You don't have a spring portal, so people talk about coming in a program and change. Well, get used to the players that you have, you see things, and you go to the spring and, the second window. Well, that's for the first year gone. And that does certainly, that just is what it is. That makes it more challenging in your first year. flipping a roster. And that's a good example. You get an injury like that, well, you don't have a portal to go change. You can't put them in IR and pick someone up off of waivers like in the NFL. So that's a concern, but one we just got to deal with.
That was the middle of spring. Now, one of the benefits of the timing was you had half of spring after that injury to let a bunch of other guys take those reps. So on the press conference to wrap up spring, I asked Lane Kiffin, okay, you were concerned. All these guys took those reps from Aiden Anding. So did anybody emerge and take advantage of that opportunity?
Yeah, I think that's a huge emphasis for us into this offseason to look at, because some guys did some decent things, but nobody stepped up to make you feel great in that. And so we've got a lot of work to do in that. And that's why I said there's no portal to go to. So we got to develop our guys and get the most out of them, and look at what coverages we're playing with everybody and all those things. Because, again, it's different. This is your roster. This is what you're set with. There's nowhere to go. So how are you what programs are going to make the best, even utilizing whether that's position changes, whether that's different schemes, like I said earlier, to make the most of what you have?
Well, Lane Kiffin said it was a huge emphasis, and they did, in fact, find a way to add another body at cornerback. They went into the JUCO ranks and got Lavonte Williams from Georgia Military College. Now, the bio, there ain't much to read here. This is a kid out of South Carolina who did not have a star rating when he signed with Georgia Military College for the class of 2025. So, high school senior who had no star rating goes the JUCO route. Remember, in a bygone era, guys sometimes would go JUCO because they couldn't make grades, right? You'd have elite level prospects who didn't make the grade, so they go spend a year at JUCO, get their academics right, and then jump back into the FBS level. Well, that was when people actually cared about academics. In this era, they'll do what they got to do to get guys in school. So this was a product of Williams going JUCO because he didn't have any other option and wanted to keep playing. There's a couple things I like, okay? He's 6'3", 180, which fits the prototype that Corey Raymond likes. Tall, long corners. There's that. He's also got 4 years remaining. Now, if the Diego Pavia rule stays in effect, because the JUCO year won't count against FBS, he'd have 4 years remaining. So you have a lot of time for him to grow and develop here at this level under the best cornerback coach in the country, Corey Raymond. The why is interesting, right? The why they went and signed Lavonte Williams is what Lane Kiffin just explained. Because you look at that cornerback room after the first three, and now it's Michael Turner, who had some nice moments in spring and had some not nice moments in spring. You got Haven Finney, who was a 5-star #1 corner for the class of 2027, reclass, early enrolled. He should be in his junior year of high school right now. He's already just went through spring. And there were moments where he made plays and you're like, I see it, that kid belongs. But he's also a guy that probably is going to take some time physically to develop. And then there's Amari Peterson, who's the freshman early enrollee, who has a long way to go. You've got Des Ellis, who will show up during the summer. Point being, the one corner you took in the portal was Traylon James, who is from Madison Prep and went to Southern, was a safety at Southern, is now transferred to LSU and is trying to change to play corner. Maybe that's a guy that can give you something, but there's not a lot of there's no Division I skins on the wall. So that's the challenge, is you have some bodies, but none that have proven ability to give you depth. And so in adding Lavonte Williams, if nothing else, you're adding another body to the room to compete, to give you depth. So we know who Williams is. We know why they went after him. I mean, you had to replace Aiden Anding. You had to go get some other body physically to just occupy a seat in the room, and maybe there's a high upside there. The other point is how, because a lot of people are going to ask, well, you heard Lane Kiffin say there's no spring portal, the roster's the roster. Remember, you learned this through the Diego Pavia situation. Junior college is not legislated by the NCAA. It's a totally different organization. It's the NJCAA, the National Junior College Athletic Association. So they don't play under the same rules. You see this in baseball as well. It's like if guys finish high school and they go into college baseball. They're in college ball for 3 years, unless if they're a draft-eligible sophomore, if they turn 21 before the draft. You can go JUCO for a year, boom, and jump right in the draft after a year in JUCO. So it's a different set of rules. So JUCO players can transfer right now because you don't have to go into the portal window. They're going up a level of classification. Similar with graduate transfers, right? If you've graduated already, then you can transfer without having to go into the portal. So there are some workarounds, but what this shows is that Lane Kiffin and his staff, they're leaving no stone unturned. They recognize sincerely the need at corner for depth, and so they tapped into the JUCO ranks at maybe a raw prospect with some physical ability, 6'3", 180, who's just played a year at JUCO, but maybe has a high upside to see how quickly Corey Raymond can coach him up and see if he can give you some depth, some quality depth. But, man, you get on bended knee, you light a candle, you pray for DJ Pickett, PJ Woodland, Jakeem Jackson, because after your first three, it is a massive drop-off to what's next in that cornerback room. All right, it's After Further Review. We are brought to you by Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com, ParrishBuilt.com. I want to thank you again, but keep reminding you and thanking you all throughout the year for voting Parrish Construction and Roofing the best roofing company in the best of Baton Rouge from The Advocate. That award just announced a couple of Sundays ago, and we're thrilled. Last year, of course, we won Best of Ascension, now Best of Baton Rouge. We're so thrilled that you have given us the opportunity to earn your business, and that's all we ever ask. Just give us an opportunity to earn your business at Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com, ParrishBuilt.com. I tell you every day to do business with someone you know. It's me and Terrio and Tilly and our great staff over at Parrish Construction and Roofing. Repairs, replacements, gutters, soft wash, commercial, residential. We do it all. We'd love to help you. ParrishBuilt.com, ParrishBuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing. All right, it's After Further Review. Let me knock out a quick break, come back. Pete Fiutak, College Football News, will join us when we come back from this break. Excited to have this convo with Pete. He's high on LSU for 2026. We'll ask him why next on AFR.
AFR.
Sunny and 82 degrees. Now that, my friends, that is pool weather. Man, if you're dreaming of your own beautiful pool in your backyard, you need to call Duplessis Pools. Derek Duplessis and his staff do awesome work. Of course, I encourage you all the time to go see their showroom. If you haven't been, it's on Airline Highway in Prairieville. If you're going south on Airline, past 42, you go into Prairieville. It's at the corner of Airline and Duplessis Lane, incidentally. That was not intentional. That just happened. Right next to the new Rouse's. Their showroom is gorgeous. You can go in there and pick out your features, all that stuff. Highly encourage you to do that. But you can do it just as easily online. Go to DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. Do it right now. DuplessisBuilders.net. Go to the homepage. You'll see 11 different pool designs. You can do anything custom you want, but they got 11 different pool designs. Click on it. Pick your finishes, tiling, coping, colors, water features, lights, all of it right there at DuplessisBuilders.net.
After Further Review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and we do shutters too.
Spring football is done around the Southeastern Conference. Pete Fiutak over at College Football News has a good piece. It's looking at 26 questions for the 2026 season out of the Southeastern Conference. There was a heavy LSU flavor in this piece. Pete's good enough to join us here for a couple of minutes. Hey, man, thanks for the time as always. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. How you doing?
Doing awesome. Would it be accurate to describe you as bullish on LSU in 2026?
Win the national championship. Like you got the guy. I mean, I get it. He's Lane Kiffin, and he's very Lane Kiffin-y. But you're also talking about a guy who, there's Signetti, and then there's in this whole cycle of stuff. If you look at the rest of the SEC coaches, kind of underwhelming. And they didn't get anybody who actually won anything. And then LSU got the guy who should be the Alabama coach, and he's not. But look what he did at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is not a good college football program. It never won anything. They had the best seasons in the history of the program under Kiffin. Look at what he did at Florida Atlantic. crushed it, right, after being in exile. Was absolutely amazing. Had one good year at Tennessee and then left for a better job at USC, got hit by the Reggie Bush, Oklahoma penalty, and still had an undefeated year in there, and then went Lane Kiffin and got, fired on the tarmac. But, all right, but he's the guy. If you take that offense and apply it to LSU talent where you're bound by nothing, yeah, I'm not going to go and say it's, Alabama getting Saban, but that's about as big a move as it possibly gets in college football right now.
I want to go deeper on LSU in a second, but one of the questions you asked is who is the best new SEC head coach, and you said besides Lane Kiffin, none of them.
None of them.
If I held your feet to the fire in this coaching carousel cycle in the SEC, who else do you think maybe can have the most success at their school?
They're going to get fired in 4 years. Who'd they get? Will Stein, Kentucky, that's rough. You're taking a coordinator and hoping it works at Kentucky. Okay, that's all right. Ryan Silverfield didn't really win anything at Memphis, and now he's supposed to turn around Arkansas. Okay. John Sumrall I like. Actually, he's the one who's actually a good coach, that's a stock rising one. But, again, if you're Florida, that's a nice idea, but where's the imagination? Where's the creativity? I was waiting for if you're the SEC, I was waiting for the $20 million a year offer to Cignetti. I was waiting for Michigan State got Pat Fitzgerald. I don't know if it'll work, but it's a pretty sweet idea. UCLA just took the James Madison coach and hoping to get Cignetti light. There just seemed to be no real creativity to the signings because basically everyone wanted Kiffin. Florida thought it could get Kiffin, didn't. So Summerall might turn out to be better. He's kind of an unknown guy. But if you're the SEC and you're a power program, you're supposed to go after the guys who you can pretty much guarantee that guy is the guy who's going to win big stuff for us. And LSU's the one who got the guy, and that's Kiffin.
Pete Fiutak, collegefootballnews.com. You pose the question to yourself, who are the three best teams in the SEC? And you start with Georgia and then go LSU, Oklahoma. Please explain.
Don't you love gimmicky pieces like this when you ask yourself the question you want to answer?
unless if you have like an editor or somebody ask you the question.
Exactly. It's such a sweet trick. But Georgia's got it. They don't quite have the talent they did during their national championship runs, but they're not far off. If they fix the glitch and can start getting to the quarterback a little bit, and if they can find a little more pop and explosion, all of a sudden that needs a tweak, not an overhaul. LSU's too. I mean, you've got a good base. You've got the transfer portal, which Kiffin just loaded up on anybody he wanted, and so now you've just upgraded the talent. And, where did we see that work? And, it's crazy to compare LSU to Indiana, but that's exactly what Cignetti did. Is Indiana had an okay base of veterans, and then he just brought over everyone from James Madison, and then kaboom. If you look at what Kiffin was able to bring aboard, all of a sudden that talent level is right. So if you're saying that the LSU team of last year now has an offense that's going to be a differentiating factor, yeah, look out. And then the Oklahoma-Texas winner. Oklahoma's just got a brutal schedule, but it is a better team this year. Texas has a few nasty games. They need to find that running game. They need to get the offensive line in place. But, yeah, everything else is there for them to be right back in the national title mix. Why
aren't you higher on Texas when everyone else nationally seems to be?
Because once Steve Sarkisian, he's going to blow it at some point. So you kind of know where there's kind of a hard ceiling on where they're going to go. And the other part of this is if you look at their schedule, I mean, the other key to this is Georgia kind of misses everybody. So they have a nice little mix of having probably the best team and one of the easier SEC schedules. LSU, I just think, is going to be good. And then the problem for Oklahoma, again, their schedule is nasty. If you look at Texas, we know how this works now. You got to be 10-2. We still have to deal with Ohio State, who should be probably the number one team in the country coming into the season. I think they win that. But if you look, there's just enough landmines there. Plus, we're not quite sure yet that they really did fix the running glitch. They got the running backs through the portal. and it's Texas. They'll figure out something, but they'll be good. But I'm just not quite there. But yeah, of course, right now they're right in my wheelhouse of saying, okay, if you're saying who are the teams that are going to make the college football playoff? Georgia, LSU, Oklahoma, Texas, those four.
All right, Pete, there's two more teams I want to ask you about that people here are always going to have a keen interest in for some obvious reasons. Ole Miss and Bama, and you don't seem to be high on either, which I think you and I probably see eye to eye. Let's start with the Rebels. How big of a step back after losing Lane Kiffin, but retaining still Trinidad Chambliss and Keywan Lacey?
Yeah, it helps. Obviously, if you've got those two guys in the backfield, it's awesome. But you also just need to have that kind of special sauce. And, everything worked perfectly for them last year. And, again, as good as Pete Golding was in the college football playoff, Kiffin was Kiffin. I mean, that was – it all kind of worked out at the right time. The schedule kind of fit. You had a down SEC despite all the gauntlet claims. This is a much better SEC this year with all these, I rag on the coaching hires, but you do have a better Florida. You do have a better Arkansas. You do have better teams out there. So it's going to be a little bit harder schedule. So they're good, but they're like maybe 8-4, 9-3 good rather than 10-2, 11-1 with the same match from last year. But certainly you got a playmaker like Chambliss. It starts there.
And what about Bama? Back-to-back 4-loss seasons.
Here's the thing. So Alabama's obviously ready to jump off a building, but they went to the SEC championship last year. They ended up in the final 8 of the college football playoff. By most normal standards, they had a pretty awesome season. Like anywhere else, and you're like, these things are good. Whereas for this, it was just they didn't win the national championship. But I don't know where they really got a whole lot better. They didn't really do much through the portal. They don't have a whole lot of high-end talent in place, and the Kalen DeBoer offense has not kicked in yet. I mean, the whole point of this was that it was supposed to be Washington or Fresno State's offense under DeBoer in Alabama, and has just not quite been there yet.
So naturally, they give him a gigantic contract extension because
I don't get it.
No, go ahead, please.
Thing. I'm sorry. It's just the dumbest thing. I don't know what. Like, where is he going? Like, is he going to be offered someone else's job? Okay, well, you're Alabama. You go find someone else. Or I don't get why they felt the need. It's like it's not 2003 anymore. You don't have to figure out, we got to keep the continuity for recruiting or anything like that. It's the transfer portal. It's era. You don't need to worry about recruits now. So it's just a whole new ballgame. And for some dumb reason, they decide to just tie themselves into this guy, or else they're going to have to end up paying a whole lot of big paper this thing.
My prediction is they're going to end up paying a whole lot of paper to get out of that thing after another 4-loss season this year and next. We'll see. Pete Fiutak, big LSU guy, that Pete Fiutak. You'll get him at collegefootballnews.com. Pete, we appreciate it, man. Enjoy the offseason.
Anytime. You have a good one.
Thanks, man. It's after further review. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. Pete Fiutak, big on LSU. Thinks Ole Miss and Bama are going to stink. Man after my own heart. He can see crystal clear. Maybe he went to the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020. Remember, eye care, eyewear, eye surgery. We talk all the time about eye surgery. It's important. But they're a full-service optical shop, right? So you want to have your annual eye exam? Williamson Eye Center. If you wear contacts or glasses, need to get your prescription updated or filled, Williamson Eye Center. And if you want to get rid of the contacts and glasses forever, go see Dr. Blake Williamson at the Williamson Eye Center. WilliamsonEye.com. They got a half dozen locations all over Greater Baton Rouge, Denham, Bluebonnet, Connells, Denham, Ascension Parish, River Parish down in Lutcher, WilliamsonEye.com, WilliamsonEye.com. All right, y'all, it's AFR. Appreciate Pete Fiutak for hanging out with us. So we'll talk to David DeLucci in about 16 minutes from right now. Recap the weekend that was in the Southeastern Conference. Talk about LSU shot, realistic or otherwise, of punching their ticket to regionals after sweeping South Carolina. Steep hill still to climb as they head to Georgia. So we'll recap and preview with Luch again coming up here in about 16 minutes. Let me knock out a quick break. Used to do Tigers and the Pros to wrap up hour number 2 next on AFR, presented by Relief Windows.
AFR.
Love telling you about the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Watermark Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. My goodness. Gorgeous luxury hotel. Downtown Baton Rouge on the corner of 3rd and Convention. If you've never been, find an excuse to go. Maybe you want a little staycation. Book a room for the weekend. Take your significant other. Y'all go stay downtown. Eat at the Gregory. Sandwich at Milford's on 3rd. Walk up and down 3rd Street to the other restaurants and bars. Go see the state capitol, State Capitol, USS Kid, the rivers. Everything downtown is right there, man. It's the location's incredible. The hotel's beautiful. The vibe is immaculate. And maybe you've got an event coming up in 2026 or beyond. It's an awesome opportunity. The old bank vaults down in the basement, you go down the marble staircase, they've hollowed out the bank vaults, added amenities for private dining and meeting rooms. It's incredible. Go check it out. Downtown Baton Rouge. It's Watermark Baton Rouge.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. And we do shutters too.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Our Monday shows are always presented by Relief Windows. Big shout out to Brandon, Adrian, Holly. Yes, windows, doors, siding, shutters, and shades, but their number one product is always customer service. One call, you'll understand why. Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. All right, Muso, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Anfernee Jennings, pack your bags. You're heading to Double A. That's right. Former Tiger gets the promotion here on a Monday morning after 5 starts. Just 5 starts at the high A level.
Let's be honest. A-ball's a waste of time.
Where he, threw 20 1/3 innings, gave up 1 earned run, walked 3, and struck out 34.
Jeez.
It was pretty good. No decisions, though, for Anfernee in high A ball. But he'll head up to Portland with the Sea Dogs, of course, the Sox organization, and start the next phase of his career.
It's Portland, Maine.
Yes.
Not Portland, Oregon.
Correct.
Other side of the country.
Yes.
Different state altogether.
Yes. Northeast as opposed to Pacific Northwest.
Yes.
Yes. Correct. Hunter Fiducia, our guy. Big Hunter Fiducia show.
Guy.
Pinch hit opportunity yesterday for the Rays. Been starting a good bit. Went 1 for 1. Got the single in the pinch. He's hitting 273, man.
Look at our
on the
guy.
young season. I know. It's going well. Josh Smith.
Callahan!
Big day for him yesterday in an otherwise disappointing effort by the Rangers lineup. But Smith out of the 8-hole goes 2 for 3. Both of those singles and drew a walk. He was stranded all 3 times that he reached base. There's really poor effort there. Back to minor league baseball here momentarily. Dylan Cruz starting to heat up in AAA. Hopefully a return not long for him. 2 for 4 on Sunday. 4th home run of the season. Drove in 2 runs. Also scored 1 himself. 260 the average is up to there. How about an update on Eric Raiselman?
Let's do it.
Still with the Yankees in their organization. Shutout inning of relief, punched out the side. A 3.27 ERA. He's at the AA level, competing against the best competition. Love that. Tommy White off to a great start in AAA as well. Remember, he got the call up late last week. He's hitting 375, was 2 for 4 a night ago. One of those a double, his second of the season. He's up there with Gage Jump, both of them in AAA with the Ace. Excuse me, thank you, the Ace. And Tigers in the pros basketball tonight. 2 series start. Watford and the Sixers. They face the Knicks in Game 1 in New York. Naz Reid and the Timberwolves
Should have stayed.
travel to San Antonio to face the Spurs in Game 1 of the West semifinals there. That's Tigers in the pros.
Can you imagine if Naz Reid had stayed?
Oh, man. No, not really, actually. No.
Because now he'd be playing for Will Wade again, because he would have just kept applying for more eligibility in this era, and he just sort of kept like suing to get to stay, and he'd be like a 15th-year player. And he'd play for Will Wade twice.
I mean, that sounds
Played
pretty
for Wade,
good.
and then McMahon, and then for Wade.
That sounds pretty good. I mean, Nas was
Yeah.
awesome at LSU. That sounds great.
Should have stayed.
Should have stayed.
Everybody was right, Muse. I was wrong. He should have stayed.
Should have stayed.
Clearly was a guy that wasn't ready to play in the pros and was never going to make it. He
what-
should have stayed at LSU.
What has he really done? 6th man of the
That's it.
year. I mean, what has he really done?
Made $1 bajillion.
Yeah.
Because 6'10" dudes that look like the Predator with good feet and soft hands, they're everywhere. They're super common to find people like that. So that just doesn't really project.
Not at all.
No. I was so wrong about that one, Muse. Speaking of giant people with good feet and soft hands, LSU landed Ahmad Hudson this weekend. I am interested about Hudson as a basketball player because we said the same thing about Trey Dez. At 6'7", on a basketball floor, you kind of blend in with everybody else. 6'7" on the football field, you're a freak show. Ahmad Hudson is a 6'6" center. Certainly is not going to project as a true 5 at the next level, but I'm told he does intend to play both sports at LSU. Eventually, he's going to have to pick. It'll be fascinating to watch. I'm sure there's plenty of examples. The best example I can tell of an elite-level basketball player and football player was Julius Peppers. I mean, he played basketball in North Carolina and then became a Pro Football Hall of Famer. So it can be done. It's just rare that it's done at that level. Tom Loy from 24/7 Sports reacted on Monday to Ahmad Hudson's commitment to LSU.
Behind the scenes, we believe what really tipped the scales for LSU was the fact that they were all in an attempt to get him to play football and basketball at the collegiate level. Nebraska was more on the fence. In fact, one source made it clear that they were just pushing for Ahmad Hudson to play football at the next level. So look, this is the number 11 overall player in the country, an elite talent who's going to join an elite talent, Elite 11 finalist quarterback Peyton Houston in Baton Rouge. Massive, massive pickup for Lane Kiffin. Huge win for the Tigers.
And then you have Lamar Brown tweeting at Easton Royal like, hey, fam, come on. When you coming along? Easton Royal is still committed. I love this. Lamar Brown tweeted, what you waiting on at Easton 3K? Best in the boot, stays in the boot. Lamar Brown's out there trying to get it done. Doing the Lord's work. Number 1 receiver in the country down in New Orleans, remains committed to Texas. See if LSU can flip him. Long way to go between now and December, though. All right, it's after further review. Our Monday shows are presented by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Check them out online at ReliefWindows.com. Busy 5 o'clock hour is ahead. Remember, you can email us, tweet us, or text 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. David DeLucci coming up right after the top of the hour. Recap the weekend that was in SEC baseball.
AFR.